Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Learn From Us podcast. As always, I'm here with Paul. Paul, hello.
Hello, Seth.
What do you have in your hands there, little pocket rocket? You got to go on YouTube, folks.
You bought this thing.
Put it near the mic so our audio listeners can... Ooh, it's vibrating.
It's one of those...
It's a Sibian. It's a vibrating sex machine that Paul just got. No, it's a Hyper Ice Hypervolt massaging gun. It's
it feels so good.
Oscillating massaging gun.
I just bought one yesterday, and it's way in.
Yeah, I bought one. My chiropractor uses this thing. I wish we were sponsored by them, but we're not. But yeah, it's a cool massaging thing. I have mid back pain, lower back pain, and tight joints and muscles. And so Paul's been using it nonstop for the last 2 days to massage his buttocks and his inner thighs.
Oh, that felt good.
Yeah.
All right.
How are you, Paul?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Surprisingly, you're wearing the same shirt as last podcast.
Yes, so are you.
That's weird, right? Yeah. Actually, we do have guys, so in our closet behind us, we do have a bin of shirts that we just interchange and because sometimes you want
this morning when I woke up, I'm like, should I dress up for the podcast? I'm like, no, I'm not going to.
You look cute in those shorts.
Thank you. They're not the shortest shorts I have either.
You don't mind short shorts.
I like the short shorts, actually.
You don't mind the look, I mean.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, like you're like white legs, you're like hanging out, kind of.
Olive tone.
Olive. Well, thanks for joining us on the podcast. We're here always, twice a week.
We have if you're still listening to us after the last podcast aired, then we thank you.
I don't know if we should get into it again, but
we're not.
Paul, I keep hearing with real estate folks on Instagram, of course, once you look it up once, right, you're done. As soon as Alexa hears me talking about real estate and investing, I get bombarded with the sponsored posts on Facebook and Google.
Of course.
About this.
It actually says remove the label before use.
Don't change the subject. I was like right in the sweet spot of getting into this. Damn it, Paul. We should just cut the whole show now. No, I'm kidding.
No, do not do that.
But all of them say, let's see, investing. It seems like if I hadn't listened to you for 50 podcasts and just listened to the Facebook, it seems like I can make millions of dollars
without very much effort.
You use other people's money. That's the
easy.
Key.
Other people's money.
You've said versions of this, but like you never use any of your money, and this can happen in a very short amount of time.
This is not the thing I'm saying. This is what
Facebook is telling me. A lot of the talking heads, they're telling me that this can be done financially free in 5 years, owning hundreds of properties very, very quickly.
Easily.
Grant Cardone sees deals he's just throwing $1 million deals. He's just licking his pen and just signing $1 million deals all day long, especially now.
Yeah.
And
6% better than zero.
And then tell me why you love hearing this.
So the one you brought up right before we got on the air was from Bigger Pockets.
Mm-hmm. Podcast.
They have a podcast, and they said how to negotiate the real estate deal. I believe that's something to be learned. However, I feel like people are taught how do you get the deal done as opposed to how do you do the right deal, right? So whenever I hear people say to me, we have a broker that we use, and I really hope he listens to this podcast. And he's always telling us, well, if you don't pay this, somebody else will. Okay, then somebody else will. And he looks at it as you lost. I looked at it as, no, I didn't lose anything. All I did was not do a deal at a price that I was not comfortable with. We're teaching people, get the deal done. Here's how you negotiate to make sure it gets done. As opposed to, here's how you find the right deal that then you can go and figure out how do you get the terms done and things like that. But if you find the right deal, it's easier to get the terms done because you found the right deal, right? You don't have to sit there and worry about whose title company is being used. If you find the right deal, you have a lot more latitude. If you need to get every deal done, you got to go sit there and worry about every little minute detail because you think you have to guard every single possible scenario that could go wrong and something not having to do with the deal at all. Once you close the deal negotiation is done. You have to go now manage that property. If you overpaid, you've overpaid for the rest of your existence on that property. Even if you sell the property, you still overpaid for that property. So instead of telling people, hey, here's how you find the right deal, here's how you analyze it, instead we're teaching people, well, if you want to get in the game, you got to do it this way. If you want to get in the game, here's how you negotiate to get in the game. No, I want to sit there and negotiate so I get a good deal. I want to sit there and go out there and spend my time and effort finding the right deal. And I think that's the big difference between us here when we talk about Learn From Us podcast is finding the right deal, understanding the numbers versus everybody else is here's how you can very quickly become a multimillionaire. Guys, really? Seriously, people, how many people in your life have you ever known?
You've said this before.
To become a multimillionaire very easily. I'm sure they're out there. And guess what? If you think that, you probably don't realize how much work went behind the scenes. I mean, this is ridiculous.
I'm now learning. I'm now learning, like, thinking back. We went to a nice school, and there were some kids who had some wealth and some dads who had some companies.
Of course.
And I always thought, man, how did they get to this stage where it doesn't even look like they're working?
Yeah.
We have a couple friends that own Akron coffee roasters. You don't drink coffee.
I don't drink coffee.
But they own Akron coffee roasters. I don't think they listen to the podcast. I wish they did. But
tweet at them.
Tweet them. We should.
Yeah.
But I've gone there like 5 times.
Oh.
Hoping to see them. Lo and behold, they're not there.
Okay.
And then it's hit me after a couple of years of talking to you. It's like, that's exactly what you want to have in a business.
Exactly. But so today we had our meeting with our consultant, and I said to him, if you told me 6-7 years ago what I'd be doing today, I'd have been like, man, I literally was yesterday at work just going, I'm really bored. You once said, like, well, Paul, I just assume you're always really busy. I'm like, I'm not, Seth. Just call me. And I will probably answer. If I don't answer, I will call you back pretty soon after.
That's true.
And I look at it going, I look at that as a compliment to my abilities of putting the right people in place and trusting them and giving them the tools to be able to do what they want to do, as opposed to running around with my head cut off going, oh my God, the world's falling apart. No, that's not the right way to run a business. The right way to run a business, in my opinion, is you find a good person. You'll hear me say how many times, I don't care, you decide. I want that to be the case because I want you to be the one to go, hey, Seth, I trust you with our video artistic talent. Go decide what you want to do with this and let me know how much you want to spend. And if I'm okay with that, we're going to do it. Yeah. Right?
You and I have talked about how we're hoping to do a sort of a Learn From Us masterclass with me in photography.
Of course.
I have 10 years experience. I've gone through a roller coaster of success and failures. And of course, I've had some things that really have changed my trajectory for the better. And I've been practicing it for a long time to the point I like the idea of education. And but the idea of business is so tough to instill in someone with an artistic photography background. And we were talking about, like, well, what if we could market ourselves toward new photographers, which are starting up? Photography is interesting because you can just go to Best Buy and buy a camera now, and now you're a pro photographer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the line that you can cross. But I would think my first, I've currently actually done it wrong. Our photography business is Seth and Beth. Mm-hmm. It's catchy. That's our names. We are sort of, I'm not going to say overplay my hand that we're known. I mean, but we can go to photography conferences and people have heard of us and it's a catchy name,
Yeah.
And, but I actually think in terms of business sense, it's been told me by true business people that it's a terrible thing to name your photography company you. And that would be my first thing. As much as if I had to go back and tell myself or tell a younger photographer, it's like, unfortunately, you probably have to come up with some name like Butterflies and blah, blah, blahs photography, because at no point with Seth and Beth can I have someone else other than me.
Hi, this is Seth and Beth. Joe will be your photographer today.
Now, maybe, but probably not. I mean, I've
always been very anti the whole naming a business after yourself or a building after. I've just always been against that. Because how do you
can't, well, people don't think that. Like, I think we actually changed it to Seth and Beth because we wanted a more people to get to know us. That
By the way, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily criticize you guys as photographers for doing that because it's a very intimate experience. But I understand that if you guys want to grow this to doing other things, if you want to sell it someday, it's easier to sell Acme Inc. than it is to sell Seth and Beth, because Seth and Beth is Seth and Beth. The second they die, what happens?
So I think in the next few, very soon we're going to rebrand with our partners in video.
Yeah.
And that'll allow us to, I now believe, which I didn't years ago, as I now believe that with the proper training and experience, like every other business in the world, like Akron Coffee Roasters, is that you can put your business in someone else's trusting hands that you do with 15 or 16 businesses.
Yep.
and it can be successful. So like a photography business or a studio can be successful, even though it is an intimate one-on-one, sort of a more intimate thing than just buying a golf tees from someone.
But I want to say one thing, Seth.
Go.
I'm not saying ignore the business. I don't know how Akron Coffee Roasters operate. I have access to QuickBooks wherever I am in the world. I get reports daily on all the properties and how they're on releases and things like that. I see the collections. I see everything that I want to see. It's not just this, hey, let me know at the end of the month how it's going. And I'm not saying that to redeem it. I'm just sitting there saying, I don't want people to take it as, oh, once I build this business, I can just walk away and collect the check. No, I do not believe that at all.
I think what I was trying to say is by learning from you is I've now come to the realization that not being at your business is healthy. Like great for them. Like our friends, like I'm really glad for them that they don't have to be there.
Yeah.
Because I see so many struggling photographers and friends with businesses where everything would just come crashing down if you're not putting
that's not
in
a
your
business.
80 hours a week, you know?
Yeah, that's terrible. That's not a business. You can't operate that way.
Like, yeah. Speaking of businesses, I was just going to say, like, I've now seen people and friends, like, they start selling things online.
Like what? Like stuff?
Clothes, shampoos, nails.
Nails?
My sister does it now, actually.
What do you mean selling nails?
I don't know. It seems like one of these pyramid-y, schemey things.
Is it?
You have a rep, but listen, there's a gal.
I don't understand. You mean like nails for like fingers?
Fake nails, yeah.
Oh,
it's a big business. I mean,
I'm sure it is.
Doesn't your gal like go and spend $100 on nails or something?
But not fake nails. She gets those are real nails.
You might be surprised, bro.
No, I'm pretty sure I've asked her that. You want to call her?
No, I mean, I'm not saying your girl. It's women in general.
Oh.
Like my wife, I think, they go maybe either way, right? I mean, don't they put nails on? Listen to this idiotic podcast with two of us talking about nails. But no, nails, Monet shampoo.
Monet shampoo? I've never even heard of this.
You don't know this?
No.
Tim, have you heard? Tim's smoking.
Tim!
No, like apparently people getting some sort of thing, like makeup is huge. Like there was a gal.
Oh yeah, Rodan Fields. That's not makeup. That's skincare.
But yeah, it's huge. One of our friends involved with a basketball team sells clothes on the side off of Facebook. Anyway, you're not supposed to know, but
yeah.
But I sort of said like, well, who would buy clothes from you? And
is it Lulu?
Something like that. Yeah, I've seen people do this.
Listen, it's a way to make money. I know somebody who quit their job as a teacher to do it.
Yeah, this makeup gal I know in Michigan is just like, she travels now. She's traveled all over. I mean, it's the Mary Kay. It's the pink Cadillac.
Lisa and I were at dinner the other day, and something involved the waitress, and Lisa like rolled her eyes at something I said, and I said something like, "Oh, aren't I charming?" And anyways, we got the conversation. And she's like, "Oh," and sure enough, she was a Mary Kay rep, and she told Lisa like, "I'd love to have a party with you, and here's my," and Lisa's like, "Oh, it's very nice of you," and she put the thing in her purse, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm not calling her."
Yeah, like the Rubbermaid Tupperware.
Oh yeah,
parties.
Tupperware parties. There you go.
Remember that, right?
I never saw one.
I think there's like sex toy parties too.
Oh yeah, I've heard of those.
That's huge, right? Too
lingerie parties.
Yeah. How did we get on this?
You were saying, speaking of business, and then you went in this tangent about.
Well, yeah, like my point is, I've seen artistic people who aren't necessarily business people.
It's hard to incorporate the two.
Yeah, it's like they have a photography business and then they start selling Monet shampoo. It's hard to incorporate the two.
Yeah,
to make a living and.
I don't really consider those multi-level marketing to be a business. They always tell you it's a business, like, oh, have your own business. It's like, well, it's not really a business, but I won't even get into that. It's just, I'm a very big proponent of, have you been in your business enough to know what attributes you need to be looking at? Keep your ear to the ground, but let people do their job. If you can't let them do their job, you don't have the right person there. That's fine. You just have to figure out how to get the right person there. And that's something that was very hard for me for a long time to figure out is, okay, well, I got Andrew. That's pretty much it. It's just going to be Andrew and I. We're going to have our properties. We're going to have numbnuts running up. No, now we found good people to run our properties. This is great.
Numbnuts.
Yeah. We had third-party managers, idiots. You know what I mean? I look at this thing now and I go, oh, wow. Like literally yesterday at 4:15, I'm like, I'm going to go home. And that's what I did. And I literally went to Mary. I'm like, Mary, I'm going home. Lisa, I'm going home. Tim, I'm going home. See, and they just sat there and said, all right, have a good one. And I feel bad sometimes going, why would I do that? But at the same point, I think they appreciate the fact that they're given full latitude to what they need to do to get the job done. And I'm not there to micromanage them. I've only had one person in the last 3 years call me a micromanager, and it's a person who should have called me a micromanager because he was a fucking idiot and had no idea what he was doing. And finally, he's just like, I quit because you micromanage. I'm like, no. And I didn't respond to him, but I said, I micromanage you because you didn't know what you were doing. And that's where I look at going, if I have to micromanage you, it's not because it's because I don't trust you because you don't. And I should have learned that and said, I should have just cut ties immediately when I said, he left after a month. In week 2, I should have said, you know what? You're not the right person. But I was giving the benefit of the doubt. And I was looking going, you can do so much more with your time, growing other businesses, doing new startups. And I go through ebbs and flows of very, very busy to not busy based on what we're doing. It's just, I look at Tim and Dynasty Owner. Holy cow. Thank the Lord I hired him for Dynasty Owner. Like, I wouldn't be doing 1/10 of what he's doing just because my person.
Dynasty Owner, folks, Dynasty Owner is, we'll talk about it, Paul.
It's my second attempt at this fantasy football startup that failed miserably 6-7 years ago. And now it's going remarkably well. It's early stages still. I mean, anything can happen, but I had Tim take it over, and he's very fantasy sports oriented, and he's done a great job. And it's merging the sports world with the business world. We just got our 3rd patent today. One of our great patents is we're the only fantasy sports game that can have a breakdown of contracts because we use actual NFL and NBA and Major League Baseball contracts. We're the only ones that can split up guaranteed, non-guaranteed money, bonuses, things like that. Nobody else can. So
let's get back. I saw a video with Gary Vee, whom I love, and talking about the hiring and firing and getting the right people. I still actually, in my photography business, I haven't yet really expanded enough to find more people. I mean, I do have an editor that I finally had the ability to trust. But Gary Vee says something like, hiring is guessing, firing is knowing. Do you fire often? And how's my position look?
Wouldn't it be funny if I fired you right here in the air?
Would I finish the show? It might come to blows. I mean, we've argued. We could argue about something.
Yes. You always worry about you always dwell on that arguing part. On the one fight we got into.
A couple.
The second one was not a fight. The first one was an actual. Either way, let's move on.
I don't dwell on it. I mean,
you brought it up several times.
Well, I'm happy we could overcome with it because
of course we can.
That doesn't happen often, bro.
Okay.
Some people get in fights.
I know.
With siblings. I won't point. with siblings, not me.
That's true.
Maybe. But I mean, some people get, and then that's it. That's it, man.
Mine wasn't a fight with my sibling. It was just like anyhow. What were you talking about?
I don't remember.
God damn it! It was a minute ago. It was about
hiring
and
firing. How I'm going to get fired in this episode.
Mary always jokes with me that I never look at a resume. I'm pretty much willing to hire anybody, but you got to prove it really quick. It depends on the position, on how quick we fire or don't fire. We've been very fortunate on the executive level of our company to make very good hires who have stayed with us. But it tends to be people who start at a very low level who just go, oh, you know what? You're a lot better than what you should be doing. You're going to come up over here now. On the sales side, unfortunately in sales, it's hey, how do your numbers look? I mean, there's more turnover in sales. On the property management side, there's more turnover. Just in terms of who you hire and things like that. So it depends on the position. On our executive team, though, we don't have turnover barely at all. And I like that because we don't want to keep a big executive team. Like we have soon to be one less person on Friday. They don't know they're being fired, people. No, I'm just kidding. She is my lady friend who's taking another job. We have 6 or 7 people. I can't even tell you, if you said to me, Paul, which one are you going to fire? I'd be like, I don't think I would. I mean, I literally wouldn't even know who would even, I'm happy with all of them. So it's and we want to keep a very small executive team, keep us very lean that way and have our businesses really grow. But they're right though. The second you know you should fire, everybody does this wrong. Like you go, okay, maybe they'll turn it around. And I'm like, I don't think I've ever had anybody turn it around. The second I thought to myself, this person needs to go, they end up going anyhow. The question is just when. Now that just could be me. But at the same point, and of course, some pompous asshole out there saying, you just don't hire the right people. No, that's not the case. Like when I tell people, you set up an interview, 10 people agree to the interview and 4 show up. You're just not interviewing the right people. No, it's just, that's the economy right now. The economy is 3.67% unemployment, a bunch of brats. Okay, that's the way it is. So We done good up here, but again, it depends on the level. Unfortunately, the lower paying the job, then the higher the turnover. That's just the way it is.
So it seems like much like deals, you're trying to find the right person.
Yeah.
The right one. Like, how do I'm still stuck because I'm like in deal finding stage.
Yeah. Find a way. It's hard. It's just garbage out there. It's very difficult.
You were telling me to look at deals and know why they're bad right now.
Yeah.
So I'm trying.
I mean, listen, you have me and we can talk about deals and we can look at expenses and sit there and say, hey, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? Why would this expense be this? Why would this expense be that? And the last thing I want you to do is buy a deal that you don't have the time for. You have to hire somebody to, and that really hits your bottom line big time. What are you writing over there?
I'm just writing notes.
What notes are you writing?
Just writing notes of the stuff I want to talk about. And
oh. Looks like hieroglyphics over there.
Well, I'm writing fast. I'm trying to listen and write at the same time.
How's that going?
What'd you say? Happen to say? Yeah. So
Humana.
Trying to find deals. I had a conversation.
The hardest part about any time is finding the right deal. Doesn't matter if it's good bad market or bad market. Yes, it's easier doing a. Guys, by the way, I want to make a note. When I say good market, I mean what you guys would normally think is a bad market. Prices are down. Everybody thinks everything's terrible. That's a good market to me.
Yeah.
Because when people say, why do you want prices lower? My first comment is, what's your favorite thing in the world to buy? They go, oh, I love purses. Do you like to buy purses at full price or half price? Well, half price, of course. Case in point.
It's been going on for so long, this full price.
I know. We're at 10 years with no recession, no 20% drop. We got 19.8% drop last year. That was the closest we got in the stock market. No recession. It's unbelievable.
You're still just sitting in the weeds waiting.
I will wait patiently. I will sit there and I will wait till the day
got that cash and you're just sitting.
Yeah, we just refinanced a property that's going to give us a lot of cash on Friday. Then we have another big property, 100 units paid off, so we rehab it. That'll be refinanced later this year, give us a ton of cash, and just keep piling it up. Just waiting.
What are you going to get when it all falls apart?
I'm not saying it's going to fall apart. When the times are better for us, we're just going to buy apartment buildings. I love them. Yeah. I'm addicted to buying apartment buildings.
Tell me why. They're
just so fun. You're buying yourself income. Imagine every single time you wake up, you go, I'm going to buy X amount of dollars of income today. Imagine that's exactly what it is. All you're doing is sitting there saying, how much do I want to make more money today? That's what it is. I'm addicted to buying those things. And when I say addicted, like, I'm not just saying that to be dramatic. Like, literally, people are addicted to buying like cars and stuff. And by the way,
sure.
I like buying nice things, don't get me wrong. But if you told me, Paul, you can have a Ferrari or this 100-unit apartment building, I will choose a 100-unit apartment building all day, every day. I wouldn't even blink an eye.
You love it.
Oh, it's the best. And rehabbing them, seeing the rents go up. Oh, it's wonderful. Taking them from shit to beautiful. Oh, Seth, nothing is more satisfying than that. And I really mean that.
Wow.
When we see our businesses grow, oh, it's so wonderful. When I see everything. Look at Rahman. When we met in January, Rahman had done $1.8 million last year in revenue. Mm-hmm. I think he's already done $1.2 million or $1.1 million, and he hasn't even. I have to look at the numbers, but I think he's already done like $1.1 million this year. Actually, probably more than that. He's going to do $3.5 million this year. It's not on pace for $3.5 million, but the end of the year, the last quarter is ginormous.
Thanksgiving and
Christmas. Yeah, it's huge. I'm looking at it going like, that's so exciting to me. It gives you so much. You look at you're smiling because I'm just like giddy as a schoolgirl.
My inherent roots of coming from definitely more of a working class.
Yep.
Truck driver dad, mom working at AT&T, Ameritech, Ohio Bell. Not a top level position. When I still have that inherent feeling that when I see a guy who has a pretty successful guy, like licking his chops about buying more stuff and making all that money, inside of me, I quiver a bit.
Do ya?
I do still.
What do you quiver at? That greedy son of a bitch.
Yes.
Oh, all right. I don't take offense to that.
Now listen, I'm trying to. That's the funny part. I still think that way. I criticize people. You, coupled with me, we criticize that thought process.
Yeah, of course.
I would never turn it down in a heartbeat.
Yeah, ever. It takes a lot of maturity to say that, by the way.
Never.
Ever.
If I could just it's just like, and so, but there's still a part of me that's like, I can't believe the way you talk about it like that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Zero.
That's what anyone in the world would do, but they can't, they won't. the usual person can't believe,
Anything.
probably never will.
Yep.
So it's much more easier to think this greedy Paul can't wait for the economy to slow down a bit so that you can get stuff cheaper on the dollar and make tons more money off of it.
And you know what the best part is?
Go on.
You know, I'm big on stocks too. Like I look at companies and I'm learning a lot more about value investing. The great thing about real estate is I don't care what the market says about the value because I have the stream of income coming in all the time. I don't care if I'm collecting $1 million a year in profit. I don't care if the market says your property is worth $15 million or $12 million. That $1 million a year is always going. It's not like stocks, right? To get my big jump. Yeah, I can get dividends, but I have to get my big jump off the rest of the market, eventually seeing what I see and seeing the stock go up. With real estate, I don't give a fuck. They can tell me it's worth $8 million tomorrow. If it still makes me $1 million a year, I don't care. That's the great thing about real estate. Every single time I buy a deal, I know I got myself X amount of dollars. But people, that's how good we are. We don't do deals going, I really hope this works out. It's like, okay, it's going to do. We just made an offer on a property. And we did our quote unquote worst case. When I say worst case, our reasonable worst case and our reasonable best case. And it came between 8% per year, which is awful, and 18%. Then we did a reasonable worst case, and it was like 11.5% and a reasonable best case of 16. So we sat there and said, okay, we'll probably get 13 to 15. And based on the market here, we're okay with that because the property is really close to our other properties. So we'll have management efficiency, and it's a very nice property. It will add to the portfolio and make us look a lot better. So we sat there and said, we're going to go for it. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to get a deal done now. But those are the things I look at going, okay, I'm basically arguing myself. Do I want to make 13% or 18%? It's a decision on how do we figure out how we do it. And my real worst case scenario percentage is 8%. In the stock market, you're happy to get 8% after your fees to your broker, you know what I mean, to your money manager. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at those things going, that's what I love about it so much. I control my own pocketbook. And I'm making something from crap to great. I'm making it beautiful. I mean, what's better than that? It's the aesthetics, it's the numbers, it's the mentality. Everything is better. Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful, Seth. And I want you to have the same thing. Unfortunately, the market is where it is.
Yeah, when you start humming and hawing about all that, I'm trying to believe I can get there one day.
You can.
I know.
You're still young, Seth. And I'm not saying you to take your time. I'm sitting there saying, like, keep looking. Make an effort to find 10 deals a week that you and I talk about. We look at and go, okay, maybe there's a diamond in the rough here. Maybe there's a diamond in the rough here. And you'll find deals. You got to find one good deal a year and you'll be a very wealthy man. One good deal a year. And your kids can play lacrosse. You ever see that? 30 Rock?
No.
Tracy Morgan says, I want to be so rich my kids play lacrosse. Lacrosse, Liz Ledman, lacrosse. Or he goes, I want to be so rich my kids don't have to go to college. It's a wonderful thing to me, and you just got to be patient. Instead of worrying about negotiating the right deal, and everybody thinks they're all in a room and they're throwing papers at each other and saying, I'm not paying you that. Fuck you, asshole. To me, it's just like, or learn how to buy the right deal, and they tell you, no, we want this. You go, no.
Yeah, I'm passing.
Very simple. No. Learning to say no is one of the most powerful things in the world, not because you're exerting control over everybody. It shows the confidence you have to say, no, I'm not doing that. It just shows your confidence. I'm not forcing this to happen. Well, I can do this if I do. No.
Well, I think I had learned that over the course of years the hard way, especially with photography. It's a little more, as we described it, more intimate sort of wedding situation. So saying no really means like, no, you can't afford me.
Yeah.
And, sorry, I know you want this, but you can't. But going into like the master class, I'm thinking about putting together about how to sell or how I call it, allow people to buy. I just allow people to buy. But you're gonna see a lot of no's. Can
I ask you a question?
Sure.
If you found a real estate deal tomorrow and you said, I'm gonna pay $10,000 for this thing, that's my price. If the owner came to you and said, you pay me $10,150, it's your deal, what would you do?
Well, see, yeah. So right off the bat, I'd say, well, it's only $150, so sure.
And the 99% of people probably say that.
Yeah.
Yesterday that happened to us and we said no. It was on a much bigger number, but the percentage was 1.5%.
1.5%.
Yes. In fact, it was actually less than that. It was like 1.4%, and we said no.
What do they say about that number? I mean, we
said the number. They go, give us $100,000 more, it's yours. We're like, nope. Like, you're gonna lose a deal over $100,000. Okay. My response in my head is, no, you're going to lose the deal over $100,000. The answer is no. We're already giving, we're giving exactly what we think it's worth. If I'm at 100, why not 110? Why not 120,000? 130? At some point, you got to draw the line. Our line was drawn. Guys, we went from this number to this number, and we went to literally our maximum number. And our maximum number, we told them, this is the maximum number. If anything turns out different in inspection, that number is either not going to happen, we're not going to do the deal, or that number's got to come down. And they said, give us this number. It's $100,000 more, and on a $6-7 million deal, it's not a big deal. And I just said, nope, not going to happen.
I just pitched a photo deal yesterday to a guy, and I'm waiting one day. You know, I pitched him, I quoted him a number, and he said, just for your knowledge, you know, that's 20% more, 25% more than the usual. Just letting you know. And I swear, one of these days, I'm going to have the stones to be like, you know what, that's fantastic, because I'm way over 25% better as a photographer than all the other people you're talking to.
You should just say
I
that.
can't. I didn't. I was like, you know, but he went with it. He hired me.
Oh.
But he hired me, and
so it isn't just about the numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's about.
Listen, everybody. So I was shopping for car insurance yesterday. I was bored, and I needed new car insurance. Mm-hmm. I called my friend who currently manages my car insurance. Great guy. His company's being a bunch of jerks, and not his fault. And they're like not really lowering. I haven't had an accident or ticket in 5 years, and they're not lowering my rates because of the timing I joined them. So I called another friend, and I was sitting there looking at going, let me be honest with him. I go, listen, I email, I go, I'm telling you right now that this is purely a financial play. I am not going to care about how great you are as an insurance company. I don't care. You're going to give me great service anyhow because I'm your friend. But if your price is not lower, I am not going to even consider it. And that was it. But there's other things where I sit there and say, no, I'm willing to pay more for. What are they? Lots of things. Some clothing, computers, equipment. Look at our equipment. We have equipment here that Joe Rogan I don't think even has.
No.
Joe Rogan has the #1 podcast, and we have better equipment than him. Because I looked at it and go, well, this camera is X, this camera is Y. Yes, it's double, but we're doubling $500. We're talking about $500 more to get the better camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Like, everybody talks about wanting value versus price, but it's okay to only care about price. But you were able to say, like, listen, and they hired you for a reason. Why? Because they probably thought, you know what? Yeah, he's 25% more, but maybe it's only $1,000 more. And they're like, we just like Seth more. We think he cares more, blah, 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 blah. That's it. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, it's great.
It's like our apartments. We're 25% higher than everybody else. Good. We think we're better than 25% better than the competition. And guess what? That's proven in the fact that I had a friend of mine who had a business once, very expensive. And he got no clients. He goes, but I'm better than everybody. I go, no, you're not. He goes, yes, I am. If you were better than everybody, people would hire you. You're not better than everybody. Your value is not in relation to your price. People will pay you more if you're better, but they're not going to pay you 100 times more because you're better. There's always a level that matters. If you're 25% more, but it's $1,000, then fine. But if would he have hired you if you're 10 times more? Look at Chris Paul. Price versus value. Chris Paul is a great point guard. He has 3 years and $123 million left in his contract, $41 million a year. I just read this morning that rival executives have said, if you offered me Chris Paul for free, I don't have to give you anything in return, I would not take him because of how bad that contract is. Here's and that's a perfect value play. He has a price. His value is not worth that price. He's a great point guard, but he's not worth $41 million a year. I can get a younger and equally as good or just a little bit worse point guard for a lot less money. Mm-hmm. Great. It's just the way the world works. You can't take it personally. Just like if somebody says to you, Seth, I'm sorry, I'm not willing to pay you $6,000 for this. You can't take it personally. You're just going to be like, at some point, if you weren't getting those jobs, I'd be like, okay, Seth, we got to figure this out.
Sure.
But we talk about Crossroads Creative, which I'm involved with as a paid consultant.
Videowithpurpose.com.
Videowithpurpose.com. And I look at that and we talk about, and one of the things we're going to talk a lot about is, okay, I want us to be on the higher end of price, but I want us to provide that value, which the thing I'm going to push you guys is I don't want to hear about things going over time, over budget. I don't want to hear about complaints about quality. I'm going to sit there and say, if we're going to charge the best, the highest, we got to provide the highest. That will win in the long run. That's it.
You say the same thing with your properties.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us today, guys. Learnfromus.com.
YOLO.
Follow the podcast. Subscribe. We'd love it. Thanks, Paul.
Peace.